Hello, everyone, and welcome back once again to a live webinar on polity and governance. I hope I am audible as well as visible, right? Great, audible and visible. Good evening, all of you. Let's wait for a minute, give others a chance to join, and then we'll begin our discussion for the day. Oh, good to see me. Great, great. Okay, let's begin now. Others will keep on joining in the meantime. So, welcome back once again to our live webinar on polity and constitution. Some of you might know me, must have taken a class from me on polity, and others would have seen my lectures on governance in the tab. And for the others, this is the first encounter that we have now. So, let's begin our discussion for today. Okay, so today we are up with around 7 topics for discussion. Some recent topics that have been going on, doing rounds in the country. We'll discuss those elements, and also we'll look into the important elements and the context for the examination, because after all, every topic that we study has to have some relevance in the examination. We are not here to have fun, right? Who would wake up at 8:30 at night rather than watching YouTube shorts would study polity? So of course, it's about how important the topic is for the examination. Okay, first up, Election Commission of India is in news. I hope you are aware that a bill was passed recently, and that bill was a CEC and other election commissioners, conditions of service, and also Term of Office Act 2023. Right now, before we discuss the new bill, I just want to brief you on the older provision. See, as far as the appointment of CEC, the Chief Election Commissioner, and the other two election commissioners is concerned, the appointment currently is done by the President. Yes, of course, the President, but on the advice of the Prime Minister, right? Article 74, binding advice of the Council of Ministers. And also there used to be a law which was called the Election Commission Conditions of Service Act of 1991, which said that the salary of the election commissioners will be the same as Supreme Court judge. Supreme Court judge's salary is 2.5 lakh rupees, 2.5 lakh rupees per month, not per annum. Okay, so engineers here, don't be confused. It's not some annual package. 2.5 lakh rupees. And the term of office is 6 years and 65 years, or 65, whichever is earlier. Meaning the tenure will be 6 years and you retire at the age of 65. A very important point. This term of office is not mentioned in the constitution. It is mentioned in this law, right? So the appointment was a slight concern, because if you read Article 324, which relates to Election Commission, there is a clause 2. Clause 2 deals with the appointment. It says that the Election Commission shall consist of a Chief Election Commissioner and such number of other election commissioners, if any, that the President may from time to time fix. And also, the appointment of the Chief Election Commissioner and the other election commissioners shall be subject to provisions of any law made by Parliament. So, Parliament was expected to make a law to decide on how to appoint election commissioners. But until and unless the Parliament makes a law, in the meantime, the President will appoint the commissioners, meaning the government appoints the commissioners. Now, of course, this becomes a problem. Recently, controversies were being raised that the election commission is serving the needs of the ruling party only. Right now, they may or may not be true. That's of no concern to us, right? See, every winning party will have to face this backlash, and every losing party will make such claims that the elections are not fair, right? There's some problem with the elections. But anyway, this matter had gone to Supreme Court, and recently Supreme Court gave a judgment. The Anup Barnwal case of 2023. This Anup Barnwal case of 2023 stated that the in this judgment, Supreme Court said that the appointment of election commissioners has to be independent. So the appointment will be done by the president, but not on the recommendation of the prime minister, but by a committee. This committee would make the recommendation. And this committee, as you can see, is a very independent one. This committee consists of the prime minister, the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, and also Chief Justice of India, right? So this was the Supreme Court judgment. In fact, Supreme Court also said that as far as the removal of election commissioners is concerned, so for those who don't know, the Chief Election Commissioner is removed in the same manner as Supreme Court judge that is mentioned in the Constitution. But the other election commissioners, how are they removed? There is no clarity at all vis-a-vis the removal of these election commissioners. It just says that the election commissioners will be removed, or the removal can be initiated on the recommendation of the CEC. So Supreme Court also advised the government that please make the removal of all the commissioners same, giving them this security, this assurance of tenure. And then came a bill. The bill could not be passed in the previous session, but in this session, the bill was passed. It became an act. This is the bill which became an act, was passed. The Chief Election Commissioner and other ECs, their appointment, their conditions of service, and term of office. So please follow carefully. This is the new law. Now, first up, we will create a search committee. This search committee is going to find out names of those people from whom the selection committee is going to pick and choose a person, and then tell the president appoint this person. Fair enough. So this search committee will be headed by, the head of this search committee is going to be the law minister. In the earlier bill, the head was supposed to be the cabinet secretary, but now it is the law minister. Okay, so this is the new change. Now this law minister will also get the support of two secretaries. Secretaries meaning the senior most IAS officers in the government of India. These three people will form the search committee. This search committee will recommend five names of people who they feel are fit to be election commissioners, including the Chief Election Commissioner. Now comes the selection committee. This selection committee will pick and choose a name from these, right? Selection committee will comprise of the Prime Minister, the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, and of course, as the Supreme Court said, The CJI? No, not the CJI. Now it will have a cabinet minister. Cabinet minister who will be nominated, chosen by the press, by the prime minister. This is going to be the 3-member committee which is going to give the recommendation. So I hope you understand the problem number one here. The problem number one is this fellow, cabinet minister, right? So cabinet minister and the prime minister, both of them are a part of this committee. So they will of course outvote the leader of opposition every point of time. And interestingly, the law also says that just because one member is not present, the search committee's task will not stop. The the selection committee's task will not stop. It can continue to give recommendation to the president for appointment. So if the LOP is not even there, right, it does not matter. These two people, PM and a cabinet minister, it is more likely going to be the home minister, his best friend, the home minister of the country. So both these people will now make the appointment, right? And interestingly, 5 names that have been sent by this committee, the selection committee is not bound or not limited to selecting from this only. They can choose some other people also, right? That's also there. Apart from this, a very important problem has been resolved. That problem is of qualification. So we had no qualification as far as our uh, ECs was concerned. There was no qualification. So for the first time, we have a qualification now. So who can or who is eligible to be the election commissioner? If you are a serving current or a former secretary ranked officer in Government of India, meaning IAS officer, okay, and you must have some expertise in managing and conducting elections. See, every IAS officer, even some of you here will become IAS officers. When you begin your career, you're posted as an SDM, DM, etc. You will be managing elections in the Lok Sabha elections or the Vidhan Sabha elections. You will become what is called a returning officer at some point of time in your career initially. So that is sufficient proof that you have expertise in managing and conducting elections. That's it. Now, third criteria, such a clear-cut criteria, persons of integrity. Oh, how to define this integrity? It is not defined at all, right? So this is a qualification. At least something is better than nothing, and good for you, right? So now, if you clear the examination and become an IAS officer, once you retire, once you retire, you have a window of opportunity to become the election commissioner also. Motivation for today, right? This is today's motivation, that please clear the exam, get the best possible rank, and your future window of opportunity to be the election commissioner also. Apart from it, in the previous bill, there was a small problem. The problem was that the salary and allowance was made similar to cabinet secretary. So a lot of former election commissioners wrote letters to the government that please change this. It is not correct, because election commissioners are not some secretaries, IS officers. It's an independent constitutional body. So they should have some independence. So the government listened to their advice, surprising, and a modification was made. So now their salary and allowances are same as Supreme Court judge, which was the case earlier also. Beyond this, term of office 6 years 65 remains the same, and they are not eligible for reappointment. One very important concept that has come into picture now, a very interesting idea that has come into picture now, is that there is now immunity given to the election commissioners. And what's this immunity? Meaning, election commissioners, against these people, you cannot file a court case for the actions performed by them. No court shall pursue civil or criminal proceedings against present or former election commissioners for whatever task they perform in their duty. Which means what? No problem now. You will have to show your loyalty towards the ruling party, and this will go unpunished at all. So, no fear. So, these are the new changes, and of course, what are the concerns? Concerns. Number one, appointment controlled by the government. The appointment has come back to the government once again. So, that's concern number one. And you know what? See, a pliable election commission perhaps offers the surest gateway to the acquisition and retention of power, right? And this is what Supreme Court had said. It's very, very important to have an independent commission. But sadly, the control has gone back to the government. Just a minute, guys. I hope I am audible to everyone. Okay. So, as I was saying, this control has gone back to the government of India, right? And one problem that Supreme Court had raised was that the other election commissioners don't enjoy the same security of tenure. That problem has not been solved. So the new law is silent on whether the election commissioners removal is going to be independent or not. The question remains unanswered. And lastly, as I just said, possibility of misuse of this immunity to the given to the election commissioners, because now you have to also repay your gratitude. Yes or no? The big boss has appointed you. Help them winning the elections, right? Loyalty towards the ruling party. That's how it is. And we have observed this happening. Back in 2019, just a small side story. Back in 2019, it was found that a lot of BJP campaigners, BJP politicians, if they made any negative statement violating model code of conduct, that would go unpunished. So one election commissioner, Ashok Lavasa, he constantly used to raise this concern. But the other two election commissioners, they would outvote him. And because he was raising concerns against the government, later on, his wife, against his wife, IT raids, IT notices were issued by Income Tax Department. Anyway, later on, Ashok Lavasa left Election Commission and joined ADB, and the raids also stopped. So, of course, we know if you try to act over smart, CBI, ED, IT, all the things are there with the government. And one more thing that is a problem is that it directly goes against Supreme Court judgment, making the entire judgment infructuous. Infructuous meaning pointless. What was the point of the Supreme Court's Anup Barnwal judgment saying that CGI should be a part and parcel? And of course, the concern was also that the debate time was under 2 hours. No discussion took place. Only 12 people spoke on this bill, most of them from ruling party. And this bill was passed when largely around 97, at that point of time, 97 MPs were absent in the Lok Sabha. That's when the bill was passed. That's also there. But see, what has the government's stand been? Government's argument is very simple. Government says, number one, executive has the task of appointing the election commission members. Judiciary has no role to play. Who told the judiciary to take up this power? Right? Number one. Number two, the government says that Supreme Court judgment, don't take it too seriously. Supreme Court judgment in the Anup Barnwal case was just a stopgap arrangement, interim kind of arrangement. Till the parliament makes a law, the court's judgment was being followed. Ultimate power lies with the government only. And they have also used an argument. They say Article 50, Directive Principles of State Policy. What is Article 50? It says that there should be separation between the executive and the judiciary in public services. So the government says that if judiciary starts appointing election commission members, it will violate Article 50. So we have to separate it. Legislature should do the task of lawmaking, judiciary should do their work, and let the executive do their work. This has been the government's argument. But anyway, what can we say? This is the current situation. Yes, it has impacted the independence. Let's see in future there will be a possibility of somebody challenging this law in the Supreme Court. Let's see what Supreme Court has to say, right? But anyway, a law has been made, and the story goes back to where we started, right? That the government controls the election commission. And interestingly, the government has given the government itself so much of power. What if after 5 years Congress comes to power? Then they will control Election Commission of India. So somebody was also mentioning that this government is of this firm belief that at any point of time in the next 50 years, other parties are not going to come to power. That's their full confidence, right? So that is why these statements being or these laws being passed. Okay, that's it. What doubts do we have? Can Supreme Court take suo motu cognizance of this issue? Yes, it can, but its hands also tied right now. Current status is the law, the new act that has been passed. Kishan, statutory right, not a constitutional one. Removal process of election commissioners. So for those who do not know, the removal process of election commissioners is not clarified anywhere. This is not mentioned anywhere. As of now, there is no clarity on how the election commissioners are removed. The chief election commissioner, this person is removed in the same manner as Supreme Court judge. But other election commissioners, how are they removed? There is no clarity on it. Okay, that's how it is. Clear? Other factors are mentioned here. Tenure will be 6 years, 65 years. Qualification is mentioned. Integrity, ethics, morality. There is no definition of this word here. It is subject to personal interpretation. What is integrity? What is morality? Okay. Salary, Ramawat, charged on CFI. The salary is same as Supreme Court judge, which means charged on CFI only. Okay, done. Article 50. Article 50 basically says that there should be separation of power between the executive and the judiciary. Okay. Piyush, sir, there is a problem. Salary is not same as Supreme Court judge, but salary is equivalent to cabinet secretary. No. That was in the original bill. In the new bill, they have modified that and rectified that problem. So now we are back to the salary being same as the Supreme Court judge. Chituri, what is the appointment process, sir? We have just finished the topic. It seems as if you have joined right now. This is the appointment process. We discussed that only, right? Anyway, so this is the appointment procedure wherein the 3-member committee is going to make recommendation to the president to appoint. Clear? That's how it is. Okay. Now let's move on. Criminal, no civil or criminal case means that you cannot file any case against the election commissioners while they are in the office. Okay. for any action or inaction, no case can be filed. That's how it is. Okay, let's solve a question. This is a question asked 20 years ago in prelims. Let's try to take an attempt at this question. Let's see how many of you have any idea. So I will launch the poll and give you a minute to solve. Please mark the answer in the poll only. Yes, Vivek, of course, such laws would encourage dictatorial attitude. See, Chandrajyoti, if they commit some murder, then you can file a case against them, but not the performance of their duty as an election commissioner. In that regard, you cannot file a case. Analyzing a bill, Arjun, such questions have never been asked in the past. It's too basic and generic a question. The only advantage is that qualifications have been clarified now. Okay, that's the advantage. Okay, right answer is B. Of course, a lot of you got this correct. That's great. The Chief Election Commissioner and other ECs enjoy equal power but receive unequal salaries. This is wrong. They all receive the same salary. Okay. The CEC is entitled to same salary as Supreme Court judge is correct. One is wrong. Two is right. The Chief Election Commissioner shall not be removed from his office except in like manner and on like ground as Supreme Court judge. Absolutely correct. So B is the right answer. And the fourth one, the term of office of the election commissioner is 5 years from the date he assumes office or till the day he attains age of 62. This is also wrong. This is also wrong. This statement is wrong. Right answer is B, 6 and 65. Okay, that's how it is. Now, practice question for mains also. So analyze the significance of independence of Election Commission of India in the context of conducting free and fair elections in a democratic setup. Discuss the existing mechanisms that ensure the ECI's autonomy and evaluate the challenges it faces in maintaining its independence. So this is a question. You can write an answer, upload the answer. I'll just give you a brief pointer on what to write here. Firstly, just to clarify, uh, in case you have to give any suggestion on making appointment independent, I'll tell you what happens in some other countries. For example, in USA, how are appointments done? In USA, appointment is done by the president only, but it is subject to approval by Senate. What is Senate? Senate is the upper house in USA, the Rajya Sabha of USA. In UK, in UK, the appointment has to be approved by the lower house, House of Commons. House of Commons is the what? Lok Sabha of UK. Okay, so this is how they appoint. In a country like South Africa, for example, in South Africa, the election commissioners are appointed by the president of the constitutional court, meaning chief justice. So there they call the chief justice as the president of the constitutional court. And not just that fellow, there's a team, representatives from the human rights court, the gender justice court, etc. So various judges come together and they appoint election commissioners. So in other countries, you find the the appointment as independent. Sadly, not in India. So we can use these as our examples in answers. Okay, that's how it is. Yes, Pulkit, that can be applied. Okay, so how do we proceed? In the introduction, write about how the independence of election commission is the cornerstone of democracy in the country, right? Ensuring free elections, fair elections, and the significance of election commission lies in responsibly administering the process, right? Upholding the principles of democracy, free and fair electoral process, devoid of bias, devoid of influence, right? Then you can also write how the election commission creates a situation of level playing field using model code of conduct, enforcing penalties and punishments for unfair behavior, etc. Then move on to mentioning the existing mechanism of independence, like the salary is same as Supreme Court judge, can't be reduced. The removal of the election commissioners, the chief election commissioner, this is independent, not the other election commissioner, but this is independent. So yes, there are certain aspects like the security of tenure is there, 6 years, 65 years. So these things are there. And what about the challenges? So challenges are very simple. You can simply talk about how the appointment is a problem. There is no specific budgetary allocation for the election commission, right? Manpower challenges, logistical issues, etc. And if you want some suggestions, very simple, talk about number one, there should be a transparent appointment mechanism, right? Appointment has to be transparent, point number one. Then model code of conduct, we can give legal backing to model code of conduct. As of now, model code of conduct does not have legal backing, right? Then there should be proper financial independence, allocation, dependence on the government for funds. That's a problem. Challenges means problems, limitations, right? Then also giving more power to election commission to punish wrongdoers, more power to punish wrongdoers, people who employ illegal means to win elections. Legal backing means a law must be made. Okay. And of course, we have to go for electoral reforms. Clear? So, this is with respect to the question. I would expect you to write the answer and upload the answer, right? Practicing mains questions is very, very important. Financial independence simply means there should be separate fixed budgetary allocation for the election commission so that it does not have to depend on the government for funds. Sabha, I just responded to your legal backing thing. Legal backing means a law. A law has to be made. That's it. Legal backing. Don't make this an English class and all, guys. Okay. Now, second issue is the suspension of MPs, right? I hope you remember this photograph where the great innocent Mr. Rahul Gandhi was recording video of somebody, one MP trying to imitate the vice president. Anyway, in the recent time, lot of MPs have been suspended from the parliament. It is, opposition is calling it the murder of democracy, right? Murder of democracy. So far in the parliamentary history in India, it's a new record. 146 MPs in total have been suspended, right? It started on 14th of December, then 18th, And this is a new record for a single day. On a single day, 78 MPs were suspended. The earlier record was 63 MPs. In 1989, 63 MPs were suspended. So at least the record has been broken of suspending more MPs. And they are from, almost all the opposition parties, Congress, DMK, TMC, CPI, etc. Look at this figure now. This is what the Lok Sabha looks like. These are people who are suspended, right? These many people. So this is what remains. Majority BJP. So we hardly have opposition. And the same goes for Rajya Sabha also. This is the Lok Sabha, and this is the Rajya Sabha. Orange is BJP, blue is Congress and other MPs, right? And remaining are independent MPs. Okay. Now, some of you extremely excited. Why were they suspended? Of course. Why were they suspended? See, what had happened was that recently we saw the breach on the parliamentary security, and the MPs wanted a response from the Home Minister on the parliamentary security breach. They had two issues, two concerns. Number one, they said, Mr. Shah, Amit Shah, please make a statement on how the security breach happened in the parliament. How could these outsiders, strangers enter and throw these color canisters in the house? Number two, parliament should hold a detailed discussion on this topic. This was not allowed. So they started disrupting the parliamentary proceedings. And the presiding officer said that they are not listening to me. I'm telling them, sit down. They started jumping into the well of the house, trying to climb on the desk of the speaker. You must have seen all these amazing photographs at hilarious activities. The old MP suddenly become very excited, right? And they jump on the desk, etc. So that happened. And they were deliberately trying to obstruct, persistently, continuously, willfully, deliberately, were obstructing the business of the house. On these allegations, they were suspended, right? In fact, the story of suspensions starts from 1962. And as I said, the highest suspensions was done in March 1989 earlier, where the MPs wanted a discussion on the Thakkar Commission report. Thakkar Commission report was a report given on the Indira Gandhi assassination, right? Uh, and in the recent time, we have seen a lot of MPs being suspended, right? Mostly for unruly behavior, like, attacking the security personnel, snatching papers from the presiding officer's table, trying to climb on the presiding officer's table only, etc. Sushil Kumar Rinku, Raghav Chadha, Adir Ranjan Chaudhary, so many people have been suspended, right? Now, what exactly is this suspension? Will come to it. Before that, why do these MPs disrupt the house? Firstly, see, there are four reasons. Reason number one, the MPs claim that there is lack of time. Lack of time available to the MPs for discussion. MPs claim that the government is not giving us time for discussion, for raising important matters. Hence, they create disruption in the house. Second thing is that they feel that sometimes the government's response is pathetic, unresponsive attitude of the government. That's also there. Other occasions, and frankly, sometimes the disruption is deliberate. Why? Because they want publicity. the cameras are there, people are watching, right? So they want publicity, political purpose. As the legendary actress Rakhi Sawant says, any publicity is good publicity. So I think the MPs believe in that only, that any publicity is good publicity. Fighting, throwing paper here and there, it's all okay. They have to come on news channels. That's primarily one reason also, right? So these are some of the reasons why disruptions take place in the house. MPs create a chaos. Like in your school days, the teacher used to say, you have made the class a fish market. That kind of situation. Now, number one, who suspends these MPs? Suspension is done by presiding officer. Presiding officer meaning speaker in the Lok Sabha, chairperson in the Rajya Sabha. Okay. So in the Lok Sabha rules say that there are three rules for suspension. Rule 373 says that if the speaker uses this rule, he can point out a member and say, member, withdraw yourself. Withdrawal from the house. If a member is asked to withdraw from the house, he is suspended for that day. 1 day suspension. Right? So that day he has to leave the premise and go home. Can't sit in the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. The exact same thing is there for Rajya Sabha in Rule 255. This is just that day suspension, thrown out of the house. Okay? Rule 374 says that if the presiding officer, the speaker, names an MP for unruly behavior, then here voting will take place. Let's say some MP is going crazy, creating a chaos. In this situation, the speaker can name this MP, yes, you MP, you are creating chaos here. People, should we vote to remove this fellow? He is creating disturbance. And if the people say, yes, yes, sir, he is irritating us, remove him, then voting takes place. And if it is approved, then you are suspended for the remainder session, right? The entire remaining session. Are we clear? For the entire remaining period, let's say, for example, this time the winter session of the parliament, winter session was held from 4th of December to 21st of December. Let's assume that on 5th of December only, the speaker names you for misbehavior and the house votes simple majority and you are asked, get lost now. So for the entire remainder session, you will be removed from the house. You will not be allowed to come and sit in the house. Next session only. You can come to the house in the next session only. Right? So that's it. So that's also a concern. Lastly, we have a very interesting rule 374A. This rule is only in the Lok Sabha. This rule is there since 2001. At that point of time, uh, GMC Bala Yogi was the speaker. And I'm sure you are aware of the case. GMC Bala Yogi passed away in a helicopter crash. The Bell 206 helicopter crash. He lost his life. So he was the speaker. Under his speaker's post, a rule was created. And what it said was that if the speaker names somebody for misbehavior, no need for voting. No need for voting. that fellow gets suspended automatically for minimum 5 days or remainder session. So this is a unique power that the speaker has. This is not there in Rajya Sabha. This is only in Lok Sabha. So in the Lok Sabha, the speaker can simply name you and you are suspended for 5 days. This rule 374, a similar rule is there in Rajya Sabha called 256. This is how the MPs are suspended. And see, if the MP is suspended, what happens? Of course, he cannot sit in the house for that day or the entire period. He is not removed from the membership. He is still an MP, but can't attend the session for the day or the time period. Number two, MPs, when they come to Delhi, they get something called daily allowance, 2000 rupees. That allowance is not given to them. And then they cannot take part in any parliamentary committee meeting also. They cannot give notice for any bill, etc. These things are there. Are we clear? Now, the suspension can be confined to the end of session only. You can't suspend an MP for 5 years. That's not possible. Suspend him for 1 day, 5 days, or for the entire session. That's it. Clear? So this is what is rule 373, 74 and 74A. The only advantage of 374A is that 374A does not require voting. The speaker can directly suspend a MP. Okay. Current MPs have been removed under this rule only, rule 374A. Yes, Vejshri, speaker from the ruling party, will be biased. Of course, that's very much possible. Shiv, rule 374 says that if the speaker names a person for misbehavior, then voting has to take place. But if the person is going crazy completely, then the speaker can on his own suspend the person. But here the limitation is 5 days only. Here, if voting takes place, that fellow can be removed for the entire remaining period. Clear? That's how it is. So the maximum suspension period is going to be the end of the session, last date of the session. Okay, that's it. Now, coming to what are the concerns here. When they are suspended, they get the Pooja, you have asked this question the third time. I've already addressed it. 374 and 374A. These are all same grounds. Understand? It's mentioned here. No need for voting. Here, voting is required. No need for voting. Suspension can be maximum 5 days or remainder period, whichever is less. Under rule 374A, you cannot suspend for more than 5 days. But under rule 374, you can suspend for any number of days. Are we clear now of the difference or still a problem? Okay, great then. So now coming to the concern here, what are the under 373 no voting is required. You are just suspended for 1 day. What is the need for voting? No voting. 1 day suspension only. That's okay. Now, what are the concerns? Concern number one is that people say you are stifling, or we call it stifling dissent. What is stifle? Stifle means to cut off, to deter, to withhold, prevent. So people are raising this concern that the suspension is a way where the ruling party is curbing any kind of opposition. You raise a question, suspended. So it is stifling dissent in the house, which is a very important point of parliamentary democracy, right? And you are also evading accountability. Ultimately, Article 75 Clause 3 says that the Executive is accountable to legislature. Why have we formed this parliamentary form of government? For accountability, right? Accountability. So if the opposition party is not there only, then what's the point? Who will question the government? And this is a very unique way of silencing the opposition. You are doing nothing but silencing the opposition. And as some of you rightfully pointed out, what about this element? Subjectivity of the presiding officer. Presiding officers in our country are from ruling parties, right? And they can decide this. So this is the entire story of suspension. Anjali, sir, who has the authority to suspend? Anjali, it is like asking, who is Sita after the Ramayana? Presiding officer has the authority to suspend, right? Presiding authority. Uh, if you compare this to British Parliament, since 2019, in the entire British Parliament, there have been in UK 25 suspensions since 2019, and people in UK are calling it the worst parliament in history of UK. In India, we are having suspensions of 146 in one session only, right? So of course there is no match to what we're doing in India. And a lot of MPs have raised a concern that, see, it is highly subjective to the speaker's behavior, right? For example, back in 1989, there was a debate going on the CAG's report. And one MP, Satya Gopal Mishra, he climbed on the speaker's table and tried to take away his mic, break his mic only. But he was not suspended. So sometimes the speaker can be very casual and relaxed in his approach. He may not suspend. Like in your school days, some teachers, you could talk in the class and all, they would not scold you. But other teachers, if you talk, they'll start thrashing you, right? Remember the PT teacher? The physical education teacher was always angry and upset, ready to thrash you. So that's the whole problem, right? So these are some of the issues. Okay. Now, just to extend this point and give you a interesting Supreme Court case on this. बहुत मारते हैं PT teacher, mathematics teacher. Oh, it's okay. Those days are gone. Don't worry. Become a DM, put them in jail only. Don't do that. Okay. In 2021, in the Maharashtra Assembly, this problem had come up actually. Around 12 MPs of MLAs of BJP, they were raising commotion in the house. At that point of time, Bhaskar Jadhav was presiding over the house, and the house wanted to discuss on the OBC reservation. But these 12 MLAs started creating chaos, preventing discussion. In fact, when the sitting of the day was over and the speaker had gone on lunch break, he said that they threatened him outside, used abusive language, manhandled the speaker, right? So the problem there was that this was wrong. So these people were suspended, and the speaker issued an order, suspended them for 1 year. For 1 year they were suspended. Don't show your face in the Vidhan Sabha. Now they challenged it in the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court said, nonsense. How dare you suspend for 1 year? You can only suspend for the maximum period of the session. That's it. You can't suspend for 1 year and 2 years. And Supreme Court in the Ashish Shelar case cancelled the suspension, calling it illegal, unreasonable, unconstitutional. And Supreme Court said that the power of the House to suspend members is a self-security power to maintain order, meaning if somebody misbehaves, the House collectively throws the person out, right? Punishing disorderly MPs. And it should not be done excessively. Once the order is restored in the House, that's it. Are we clear? So when the MLAs were suspended in the next session, they should be brought back. Don't suspend them for 1 and 2 years. So this is also something that the opposition parties are using, saying that Supreme Court judgment is there against it. How dare you suspend us? But anyway, the session is over. Suspension is now over. In the next session, all these MPs will come and sit again freely, waiting for the next round of suspension, if it happens, right? If it happens. Okay, that's it. Let's solve a prelims practice question. I'll give you a minute. Solve this question, please. Focus. The MPs are removed only for a small period of time. The remainder session, they are not removed. Stifling dissent means preventing any kind of dissent. If you raise any question against the government, you are being suspended. LOP is the leader of opposition. Oh, interesting. The power to suspend the MPs lies with leader of the house or the presiding officer. One is wrong. What is this? The LOP in either house is immune from suspension. Nobody is immune from suspension. If you misbehave, you can be suspended. Leader of opposition can be suspended. Both are wrong. What's the right answer? How many are incorrect? Not correct. Right answer is C. Okay. Emmy, and evading accountability. See, evading accountability would refer to the idea that the government wants to escape questioning. They want to escape the questioning from the opposition. Who is the leader of the house? Oh, making it a GK class also. Leader of the house is the prime minister. And in the other house, Piyush Goyal is the leader of the house. Leader of the house belongs to ruling party. Sudhar Vidi, stifling dissent for the 100th time. Stifling dissent means preventing dissent, curtailing dissent, curbing dissent. That's called stifling dissent. Okay? When I ask a question, you scold me, you suspend me, you throw me out of the house. You are preventing any kind of opposing voices. Clear? Neha, meaning of deliberately, madam, don't make this an English class, sir. Come on. Jan Bujkar is deliberately. Okay. Or as a possibly a question can be asked. No, Sandeep, there is no cancellation process. BK Vibhu, yes, it is subject to judicial review. No, Simran, they won't get allowance, they get salary only. Okay. Yes, Vignesh, leader of the house can also be suspended. Any member can be suspended. Are we clear, guys? Don't ask me, sir, this fellow, that fellow. Are yes, every member of the house can be suspended. In your school, the teacher could throw out anyone, including their favorite students also, including the class monitor also. Everybody could be thrown out. See, rule 256 is just like rule 374. 374 is for Lok Sabha, 256 is for Rajya Sabha. Okay, let's move on now. We have a mains question also. For Siva, can speaker get suspended? By speaker is the boss. How will he be suspended? Come on. Yes, we know that we can ask questions and all, but a bit of right. Don't suspend the speaker only. How will the house run if the speaker is suspended? Okay, interesting, interesting. Great. uh, I would expect you to write an answer for this question also, right? Practicing mains answer writing is very important. Analyze the challenges faced by the opposition in effectively fulfilling their role in the current political landscape and suggest measures to strengthen the role of opposition for a balanced and effective democracy in India. Please tell me, what are the challenges faced by opposition in the country? Forget your answer my question now. Please tell me, what challenges does the opposition face? No, don't write raids and all. That is not relevant. Number one, electoral dynamics. Yes or no? Is that a challenge? Electoral dynamics meaning seats. Opposition is very small in number. Ruling party is very large in number. Outvoted every time. They also have limited parliamentary space because most things are done by the ruling party only. So they always have a problem that we are not being given sufficient time. Then ruling party has lot of resources. Ruling party has resource of people like you, IAS officers, various secretaries, bureaucrats. Opposition party has no access to resources, right? That's also a challenge. Then media representation. The media will always focus on ruling party, not the opposition party. And also opposition party is not one party. There are multiple parties which oppose the government. Those different parties may also oppose each other. They have just come together to oppose the government. Does not mean that they are best of friends. They themselves are fighting. See, Congress and CPI, or Congress, let's say, and Aam Aadmi Party came together to oppose the government. But Congress and Aam Aadmi Party are fighting elections against each other in Punjab. Maybe Congress and BRS came together to oppose the government, but they are fighting elections against each other. So there is internal fragmentation in the opposition parties also, right? And of course, public perception. We always feel that the opposition creates obstruction. We never view their questioning as constructive work because the governments make us believe that, see, we are doing great tasks, this opposition is creating obstruction in our functioning. And that is what is the perception. These things have to be modified. Okay, so please write an answer for this question. Let's hope that one glorious day you will write an answer for this question and get it evaluated. Okay. Third is the parliamentary security breach that happened. Satya Prasad, MP from opposition, cannot become a speaker. Okay. It's a convention since 1996 that a speaker will come from ruling party. Guys, I don't think you have revised polity properly. Some of you are asking very generic questions. Okay. Others, leader of house can be suspended. I have very clearly said every MP can be suspended. Sir and ma'ams, please pay attention to the class. Don't watch the cricket match. India is already going to lose. And don't watch some reality show around. Don't serve YouTube. Focus on the class only, okay? No side business. Please, full attention here. Messaging, chatting, and all separately after the class is over. Okay? Tell your best friends to wait. Oh, India lost already. Why did you have to give me this heartbreak right now? Yeah. Anyway, okay. Before till I saw last It was about to lose, but sadly it has lost. Okay. Anyway, parliamentary breach. This I hope you know. Oh, interestingly, uh, in the parliament, just to tell you before we begin, the security involved. We have the Parliamentary Security Service, we have Delhi Police, we have Parliamentary Duty Group, we have other services. Then you have tire killers, road blockers are there, power fencing is there, door frame metal detectors are there, RF tags are there. All these things are there. But some of these great fellows did enter the house. So on the 13th of December 2023, two people, Sagar and Manoranjan, these two fellows, they entered the Lok Sabha, jumped. They were sitting in the gallery, jumped inside, and they were hiding. See, in the shoe, they were hiding canisters, and they threw these canisters which sprayed yellow color. And it's just like, I remember this gangs of Wasipur, Dhua Dhua. That entire Lok Sabha became Dhua Dhua after this canister attack. Anyway, so the point here is that the other two people, one is this lady Neelam Singh and Amol Dhanraj, they were outside the house chanting slogans, right? And these two were throwing smoke grenades in the house. So, and Lalit Jha was helping them. So the point here is, and Neelam Singh was chanting outside that we youth, she is 37, we youth. I mean, she is not youth, but anyway, let's not go down that path, right? So that's also there. But anyway, she was talking on the behalf of youth, maybe, and they were very frustrated with the youth, with the government, and they chose that day. And sadly, on at that point of time, Rajendra Agrawal was a presiding officer, and as soon as the people jumped, he said, "House is adjourned for 1 hour." So this begs us to know a very important point. How are outsiders allowed entry in the parliament? So, firstly, outsiders are called strangers. Okay. So, the handbook of Lok Sabha says that you need to have a visitor's pass. A visitor's pass, this is the visitor's pass. Visitors pass to these people was given by Pratap Simha. Pratap Simha, an MP from Mysore in Karnataka. See, to be very frank here, most MPs give the ready-made signed pass to their officials who will allocate passes very easily, right? So he should not be blamed for it, to be very frank. Visitors pass is given, and you also, the MP who is applying for the pass also has to give in writing that the visitor is my relative or a friend or is known to me or belongs to my constituency, etc., whatever, and I take full responsibility for him or her. And not just this, you have to give your name, your ID proof, your father's name, your local address in Delhi. All data is collected. Only then is this pass issued. And then you can come in the parliament, and don't think you can sit in besides Prime Minister only. Hello, PM, how are you? No, no. There's a proper visitors gallery where you sit. Okay? Don't think that you walk in the house and sit beside the Prime Minister. That's not possible. There are separate galleries for you to sit. 6 galleries are there where you can sit and watch the proceedings. But mind you, even if you have a pass, the presiding officer can disallow entry. He can say, no, no, this fellow, you get lost. 30 years ago, this fellow did not give me a pencil in the examination. I hate him. You are not allowed. Get lost. That's possible. Sometimes the house also holds what is called a secret sitting. In a secret sitting, outsiders are not allowed. So at that point of time, if you are holding a pass also, you will not be allowed to sit in the house. So don't think that once you get the visitor pass, it is some kind of right that you have to sit in the house. That there is no right. Okay, it is subject to conditions. So we have two types of passes. One is the regular pass, which is given, which is has to be applied 1 day prior. So before 4 p.m. in the Lok Sabha and before 3 p.m. in the Rajya Sabha, you have to apply for visitor pass, and then you get this pass. And it is non-transferable. It is not some movie ticket that you transfer to somebody. Okay, you get it in your own name, and you have to be present. If you don't come, no problem. And you can sit only for 1 hour. Don't think that, oh, nice AC is there, I'll go and sit for the entire 6-7 hours. That is not allowed. 1 hour only. We also have the possibility of same day pass, but for same day pass, there's a form called red form that has to be filled, and you have to get the approval of your, if I'm an MP, let's say from BJP, I have to get the approval from my party senior leader, deputy leader of my party, and then only can I get the same day pass. Okay, and every MP can get only 4 passes per day maximum, not more than that. Anybody can get a pass, don't worry. Whether you belong to the MP's constituency or you are from some other place, no problem. If you know the MP, you can get the pass. Simple. And the pass to the visitors is issued by a separate department that is called Centralized Pass Issue Cell. This CPIC issues the passes. Clear? This is how passes are issued to the people. Anybody can get the pass, don't worry. In fact, they chargeable? Oh, it's free of cost, don't worry. Free of cost, enjoy. And just to clarify, we have a we have a triple we have a triple layer security. When you enter the parliament, outside the gate only, right, your ID pass is checked, metal detectors are used to frisk you properly, and you can't take anything inside. Then when you go inside, again frisking is done to take away mobile phone, etc. Everything is taken away. You can't take all these things. Only two things are allowed: your ID proof and the pass. Clear? And then when you enter the house, again third round of checking takes place, and anything that you carry which can be thrown, let's say maybe pen, cap of pen, etc., all these things are removed. What if you are sitting in the gallery and throwing things on the MPs, right? So we have to remove all those things. Okay, inside also you have marshals, you have watch and ward. There are total 6 galleries. For every gallery there are 2 security staff. In total there are around 301 staff. Now, on that day, only 176 staff were there. So, yes, we had a slight shortage of staff on that day. So, that was again a concern, slight concern for the house also, right? Anyway, so this was the breach of security. Right now, what has happened? These people, against them, UPA has been, they have been charged under UPA. What is UPA? Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. So they can be declared a terrorist also. What was surprising was that some of the opposition party members were actually justifying this behavior, that because they are suffering, because they are disgruntled with the government. Really? So if you are disgruntled with the government, do you have a right to jump inside the house and then throw these smoke bombs? What kind of behavior is this? Anyway, and sadly, these people chose the day, the 13th of December. So just to give you a couple of points on what happened on 13th of December also. UAPA full form, you can Google search for it, but the full form is Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967. Oh, that's a year. So on the 13th of December at 11:40 a.m., five terrorists, they tried to, in their ambassador car, try to enter the parliament by using a fake Home Affairs Ministry sticker. The security got alert. They tried to prevent the entry. They forced their entry, rammed their vehicle on the vehicle of the then Vice President of India, Krishna Kant, and got out of the car and opened fire. Right? 9 people died. 8 security personnel died. One gardener died. And all five terrorists were killed also. That's also there. So, in fact, there's a very interesting series loosely based on this event that's called Special Ops on Hotstar. I'm not promoting any series and all, okay? If you want to watch, you watch. Otherwise, don't. Don't worry. So, 13th of December was this day when the parliamentary attack happened. And these buggers, they chose that day only to make their point. How can they justify their behavior, right? So, and some people are also making the statement that Pannu, the Khalistan leader, had also said that we will have to attack the parliament and all. Pannu keeps on saying various statements. How do we keep a track of that? So, who were the perpetrators? Initially, the government said that LET and Jaish-e-Mohammed were behind this. LET said, no, we are not behind this. Jaish-e-Mohammed never denied it. And Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front was behind it. This was the person, Afzal Guru, who was the mastermind of this parliamentary attack. Mastermind of the attack was Afzal Guru. He was given death sentence. He was also killed on the 9th of February 2013. He was hanged and he had filed for a mercy petition. The then President of India, Pranab Mukherjee, had rejected his mercy petition and he was hanged. And in the great university, JNU, the people, the kids, should we call them kids? I'm not sure. But let's not call them uncles also. Some of them are kids. But those people, men and women, were protesting that Afzal Guru was wrongfully hanged. They called it judicial killing. That Supreme Court is wrong. The High Court is wrong. The President is wrong. They are correct. Right? Anyway, one thing that was slightly improper was that Afzal Guru was hanged very quickly, within 6 days. He was not given ample time to meet his family and all. That is when the Supreme Court, in a judgment, Shatrughan Chauhan case, had said that from now onwards, don't hang people immediately. Give them 14 days of time. And Shaukat Hussain was jailed for 10 years, though he was let out for good behavior. Right? So that's how it is in our country. So this was the 13th December attack 2001. Anyway, moving on, solve a question, a prelims based question. Please mark the answer quickly. I'll give you 1 minute to mark your answer. Yes, Shyam, the same things are in state assemblies also. You can go and watch the sessions. Talk to your MLA, any MLA, approach him, they will give you a pass. Maybe nowadays it may be a bit of a challenge, but they can give you a pass very easily. Uh, okay, great. MPs can apply for visitor pass for people from their constituency only. No, anybody can apply for it. No problem. So this is wrong. Once the pass is issued, the stranger has a right to sit in the gallery. There is no right and all. Speaker will decide it. Okay, don't claim it. I have a fundamental right to sit in the house and all. Sorry, no such right. So both the things are wrong. D is the right answer. Neither one nor two. In your answers, please don't write names of political parties uselessly. Okay. Shankar Ganesh, three-stage security is meant for visitors only, right? Ram Shankar, I mentioned CPIC, centralized pass issue cell. Okay. So the pass issue cell department is called the CPIC. Moving on to the next topic, national language controversy. Once again, right, our great leaders will raise a concern. So recently there was a meeting going on of India Alliance. India is this big tent political alliance of 28 opposition parties who have come together with the sole purpose to defeat BJP. I mean, they don't have an alternative model of governance. They want to defeat one party. If that is your objective, you will never win the election, right? The objective should be providing alternative mode of governance. Anyway, so in this meeting, the CM of Bihar, Nitish Kumar has been in news for various weird kind of reasons, right? Weird kind of reasons. He recently made a very weird remark in the assembly in Bihar. Anyway, so here he was giving a speech in Hindi. After his class was over, right? After his lecture was over on this speech, one member of DMK, TR Balu, he raised a concern that I can't understand Hindi, so please translate in English. And he became very, very angry. He started giving gyan to all the people that, oh, how dare you? We call our country Hindustan and Hindi is our national language. Baba, there is no national language. Why do these leaders not read the rule books properly? We do not have any national language. But anyway, this makes the topic important. So we have what is called an official language. See, national language refers to a language that is spoken by a large population of people in a nation which is associated with their socio-political or cultural aspect. National and an official language is basically a language which is there to serve the needs of administration. Okay, so for union, what is the official language? Hindi is the official language, but apart from it, English is also going to be used. Article 343. Clear? English will be used for all official purposes. For states by default, if the states don't choose any official language, then English is their official language, or else you have to choose any language, right? It need not be from Schedule 8. For example, if you observe, there is something called Schedule 8, which is 22 official languages in the country, right? And you can choose any language outside this also. For example, in Mizoram, we have Mizo as the language. In Ladakh, apart from Ladakhi, Hindi, and English, we also have Purgi as an official language. In Tripura, Kokborok is an official language, right? So there are various official languages used by various states which are not mentioned here. There is no such mandate. Anyway, please remember, we do not have any national language given by the government. What we have is official language. Okay, and for Supreme Court and High Courts, Article 348, English is going to be the official language. Clear? Now, high courts can also use Hindi or the local official language. For that, the governor has to allow and the president has to what? Give the permission. Clear? So this is there with respect to the official languages. Now, Hindi was or English was supposed to be used only for 15 years from 1950 to 1965. But then in 1963, Official Languages Act was passed and now English is used as an official language indefinitely. It will be used forever. So it's better you please now get a command over English because English is going to be used forever. Now we can stop the use of English also. How? All the non-Hindi speaking states will have to pass a proposal in their house and parliament has to approve. Only then can we prevent the use of English and start the use of Hindi. So please imagine Tamil Nadu government passing a proposal to reject English and accept Hindi. West Bengal government, Gujarat government, Goa, Maharashtra, Telangana, of course it will never happen. So please, English is going to be the official language which we use. So please have a command over English. Sadly, this is the reality. Such issues are very weird. In fact, sometimes our home minister makes a very good statement. Recently, in the month of August, a meeting was held, official language meeting was held, and home minister rightfully said that we have to respect our heritage and we have to erase the signs of slavery by promoting Indian languages. In fact, he also said that Hindi is not a competition. Hindi is not in competition with the local languages. Nation can truly be empowered by promoting all the Indian languages. And sadly, we keep on fighting and forcing our fellow citizens to learn some language. Why? Everybody has a right to protect their culture. There is no need to impose any language on anyone. I mean, we have seen an example of imposition of culture. When West Pakistan tried to impose their culture on East Pakistan, a new country was created. Right? So we should learn to respect the other culture as well. I think, frankly, in our country, we have that. The left wing liberal media tries to play this too much that we don't respect. Right? Anyway, this is Schedule 8, 22 official languages. And now solve a question. Please mark the answer. I will launch the poll, give you a minute of time, read the statements carefully, and mark the answer. Nikita, yes, the salary of the CC and EC is same as Supreme Court judge. Supreme Court judge's salary is charged, so this is also charged. I hope problem is resolved. Yes, Divya, it exists for assemblies also. Yusra, leader of house, is an MP in the house who represents the house from the ruling party. Speaker or the presiding officer is the monitor of the house. Okay. So Hindi in Devanagari script is the official language. Yes or no? Yes, it is. States can adopt only language listed in 8th schedule. That is not correct. You can adopt any language. I gave the example in Tripura, Ladakh, Mizoram, right? So 2 is wrong. The use of English for all official purposes has been extended indefinitely through this Amendment Act. No, no. This was extended through this law, Official Languages Act 1963. Yes or no? This. Clear? So 3 is also wrong. Answer is A, 1 only. We have 2 official languages, but the constitutional statement is that Hindi in Devanagari script is the official language. Apart from this, for the first 15 years, English will be used for all official purposes. That was the statement. Okay, so here the is correct. Constitutional statement. Why second option is wrong? So innocent aspirant, second statement is wrong because we can choose any language in our state and make it an official language. States can have multiple languages as official languages. For example, Telangana has Telugu and Urdu both as official languages, right? I was giving the example of Tripura. In Tripura, apart from Kokborok, English and Bengali are also official languages. In Mizoram, apart from Mizo, English and Hindi are official languages. In Ladakh, you have English, Hindi, Ladakhi, Purgi as official languages. That's it. Then we have an issue with respect to Trump's disqualification. This was in news because just to give you a backstory, back in the year 2021, when the counting of votes was going on the 6th of January for the president's election, what happened? There was an assault on the US Capitol. US Capitol is the Parliament of USA. And people entered, supporters of Donald Trump entered, and they attempted to prevent the counting of votes. Right? This is what happened. In fact, 5 people died during the riots that broke in. So, this was the riot that happened. Look at this craziness. In fact, the allegation was that Trump was issuing statements inciting the people that this is wrong. I am wrongfully being removed. Right? There is this uh, conglomeration of all these press together to remove me. This election is wrong. Voters, go for it. Stop the counting, etc. He was trying to promote it, right? And so recently, what has happened is that lot of people filed a case against him in various Supreme Courts. So in USA, every state has its own Supreme Court, right? So he 5 cases have been filed in various Supreme Courts that finally one Supreme Court accepted the argument. So what was the case filed? That Donald Trump had tried to incite people to commit an act of violence. And there is actually a constitutional provision which was made in 1868 only. This is called the 14th Amendment of the US Constitution. This has 5 sections. There is a section 3 which says that anyone who has previously sworn to uphold the US Constitution but then participates in insurrection. What is insurrection? Insurrection means violence against the government. If you used to hold a government post and you try to incite people to become violent against the government, rebellion, supporting the enemies, you cannot serve in any key position whether a senator, representative, presidential elector, etc. Using this argument, cases are filed that Donald Trump had tried to raise this concern that the voting is fraud. He had tweeted about it and he was promoting people to go and attack, right? So disqualify him. Finally, one Supreme Court in one state of Colorado. Colorado is a state in USA. State in USA. This state Supreme Court has accepted the argument and has disqualified Donald Trump from taking part in elections. Of course, this does not mean the end of story for him. He will appeal in the US Supreme Court and hopefully that decision will be overturned. Anyway, a lot of people are not appreciating it because, see, when you try to find out ways to prevent people from contesting elections, you are actually trying to, prevent voter's choice. If the voter wants to vote for somebody, don't try to find ways to disqualify the person. This 14th Amendment Act was passed in 1860s to prevent Confederate leaders like Jefferson Davis, who was a VP, Alexander Stephens, etc. These people had to be prevented from contesting elections. Now, if the voters want to vote for Trump, no problem. Don't find ways to disqualify him. Let him contest and win the election if the voters want it. That's the point. Anyway, this brings to Shrimand, yes, every state has different Supreme Court in USA. So this brings to us an important topic. And what is that? This comparison between those countries, other countries in India, on how are the heads disqualified. So if you go look at UK, see in UK the head of the state is a monarch. There is no election. But for parliamentary election, disqualification can take place on bankruptcy, criminal conviction, office of profit, etc. Right? In France, to run for the president, you have to get sign of 50 people. Then disqualification can happen if there's a criminal conviction against you. Maybe you're involved in some moral crime, you have violated some election laws, etc. Then China, in China, normally what happens is that if you are involved in political dissent, you have some criminal history, or you are outside the inner circle of party, then you are not allowed to contest elections. In Russia, the same old story. If you have some criminal record, you are of unsound mind, mentally incapable, you have failed to submit the relevant documents, then you can be disqualified. What about India? In India, the president is disqualified for holding office of profit. What is the meaning of office of profit? Any post which gives you a financial advantage from the government. Meaning, if the government has appointed you, government can remove you, government pays salary to you, you are performing government functions, all these things mean that you are getting some advantage from the government. Okay. Hariom, yes, for all those people, guys, in USA, every state has its own Supreme Court, and there is also a Supreme Court for the center. Separate Supreme Court for center one, and all states have their own Supreme Court. Are we clear now? Everyone? And highest court is the Central Supreme Court. That is the highest court. Same goes for high courts also. Every state has its own high court and center has its own high court. Clear? Okay. Now in India, one more disqualification is that the name is not in electoral roll. What is the Meaning of electoral roll. It means voter list. Kids call voter list. Legends use electoral roll. From today onwards, please use the word electoral roll. Don't call it voter list. Confuse everybody. Okay? Anyway, so if your name is not in the voter list, you can't contest elections. For MP, MLA, you have to refer to this Article 102. It has the same old story: bankruptcy, not being a citizen, unsound mind, right? And of course, office of profit. You are disqualified. And then there is an RPA. What is RPA? Representation of People's Act 1951. There are some sections like section 8, 8A, 9, 9A, and 10. These sections contain the provision for disqualification. Please refer to your notes on these sections. Okay. Section 8 is disqualification if you have been convicted of an offense. 8A, you are disqualified for corrupt practice. Section 9, you are disqualified for disloyalty. 9A, you are disqualified for holding some government contract. And section 10, you are disqualified for holding shares in a government company. And lastly, 10A, you are disqualified if you overspend, meaning spend more than the limit. In every Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha election, there is expenditure limit. Please tell me, what is the expenditure limit in the Lok Sabha? How much money can you spend in campaigning in the Lok Sabha? In the Lok Sabha, 95 lakh rupees is the limit. That's it. Not more than that. In larger constituencies, you can spend up to 95 lakh rupees. Though I'm sure you are aware that a lot of people bribe, right? And various complaints always found that people are bribing for votes, and various states have various rates going on, right? In some states, voters are given 2,000, 5,000, right? Nowadays, voters are demanding cash. 20 years ago, voter was innocent. One quarter bottle and one packet of biryani, and he was happy, satisfied. Nowadays, voter knows his rights. He says, give me cash, 5,000 cash. Shameless politician, shameless voter, right? Anyway, so this is a situation with respect to our country. Okay, please solve this question. Let's see whether you are aware of basic facts or not. Expenditure limit is only for Lok Sabha, not for Rajya Sabha. Expenditure will only be done in direct elections, not in indirect elections. Kumar and Aditya, 40 lakh rupees for the assembly. Yes, Abhishek, that's a wrong statement. Done, guys? Okay. The tenure of Indian president is more than the tenure of US president. Yes or no? Srimant, please tell me, elaborate. 5 years. This is how much? 4 years. Okay. Correct. India is a republic because head of state is elected. Absolutely correct. Head of state in our country, the president, is he not elected? Yes, he is elected indirectly, but elected. As opposed to monarchy, in the parliamentary form of government, the head of government is the de facto head, real head. Absolutely correct. Right? And lastly, so far, no Indian president has died in office. This is wrong. Two Indian presidents have died in office. Two, not one, but two. Dr. Zakir Hussain, 1969, and Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad. He died. He was the president during emergency. So he died while he was holding the post. Okay? President is nominated. Sir, who is saying the statement? Don't give a heart attack to me, sir, please. President is elected. I had a minor heart attack only. President is elected in our country. Indirect elections take place. So, guys, please tell me who votes in the election of the president in our country? Okay. The most appropriate answer is elected MPs and elected MLAs. And MLAs also include the UTs of Pondicherry and Delhi, right? And also Jammu and Kashmir. Yes or no? No, absolutely correct. Jammu and Kashmir is not included as of now. Okay, this is one mains practice question. How is the election process of the Indian president different from that of the US president? And why do you think the election of Indian president is indirect? Right? So you can, I hope, write this. The difference is in the electoral college composition, the voters, the voting system, the eligibility criteria, the term length, the re-election, the role and power, the campaign process. All these things are different. Even the political affiliation is different. In India, the president has to be neutral, but in USA, the president is from a political party, right? So please answer these questions, write these answers, and send them for evaluation. Okay, a quick piece of information with respect to RTI. Recently, one organization which is called CERT-IN, Computer Emergency Response Team India, it has been added in the list of exemption from RTI, meaning now you cannot file request for information from CERT-IN. Okay, CERT-IN is basically a nodal agency, operational since 2004. What's the task? See, it basically collects data, analyzes data, disseminates information on cyber incidents. It will also forecast, predict, and alert on possible cyber security incidents in the country. So that is the task of CERT-IN. Okay, it has now been exempted from RTI. So I hope you all know what is RTI, right to information, right? Right to information. The act was passed in the year 2005, and it gives every citizen the right to ask questions from public authorities. So any citizen can request for information from a public authority, and the public authority has to give the information in how many days? 30 days. Though if your life or liberty is involved, then within 2 days only, 48 hours, that's also there. If you don't give information, then the citizen can go and complain to a senior in the department. If the senior does not help, then you can go and complain to an independent body called Information Commission. This Information Commission will then direct the PIO, this public authority that give information. And if the PIO does not give information, fine can also be imposed. Penalties. How much? Rupees 250 per day of delay. Maximum 25,000 rupees. This money can be taken out of the pocket of the officer, right? So this is your RTI Act, Right to Information Act. Okay. Now, under RTI, there are certain exemptions. See, if the Information Commission is also of no help to you, then you can always approach the High Court and the Supreme Court. If you are not satisfied with the High Court and Supreme Court also, then you sit at home and cry, because then nothing is available to you. Then you cannot be happy ever. We have to stop at some point of time to be realistic, right? So Supreme Court, fine. Then pray to God if you believe in God. What can we do? Now see, there are some exceptions, meaning we can ask the government for information, but we cannot ask every piece of information. Section 8 talks about some exceptions, like asking for any personal information. What did Narendra Modi have for dinner last night? Why do you want to know? You will say he is a prime minister, government. I want to know. This is personal information. You can't know all this. Are you clear? So don't ask for personal information. And mind you, this RTI can be used only against government for government information. Don't think and use RTI to ask information about your neighbor's phone number or somebody's Instagram ID. Please don't try all this. It is not meant for all these things. Only for important government information. Are you clear? Then, one section 9 says that if there is any information which is a copyright, intellectual property, you can't ask for that information also. Clear? That can't be sought. So not to private bodies, only public bodies, and relevant information. Then of course issues like if you are asking for information which violates country's sovereignty, integrity, etc., you can't ask for all those things, right? If you ask for any kind of copyright would mean, let's say, in our country, let's assume KFC comes to sell chicken, and you want to set up a similar kind of no food joint. Now when KFC has come to India to start a particular food chain, it has to inform the government of every ingredient it is using in its finger licking good chicken, the crispy chicken, right? Now, if you are starting your own shop, you can't go and tell the government, give me information. What is the KFC using? What material? I'll use the same material. That can't be used. That's a trade secret. Okay? So don't ask for that information. It will be rejected. Then there is a section 24 also, which relates to second schedule of RTI Act. There are certain organizations against whom you can't seek information. You can seek information, but only of two kinds. What? Number one, corruption. Number two, human rights violation. If there is a human right violation, then you can seek information, or there is an allegation of corruption, then you can seek information. Otherwise, you can't seek information. Bodies like RAW, right? Intelligence Bureau, Narcotics Control Bureau, SPF, BSF, CRPF, CISF, Assam Rifles, DRDO, CBI. Government has also added CBI in that list, right? CBI is there, NIA is there. So against these bodies, you cannot file RTI to ask generic information. Yes, ED is also there, Enforcement Directorate is also there, right? Special Protection Group is there, financial intelligence unit is there. There are 27, 28 such bodies against whom you cannot file for information. Now we have also added cert in this schedule 2. Clear? That's it. See, what has been the problem? Before we solve the question, what is the problem? Why are people saying it's a problem? See, if you think of it, cert in is involved in a very crucial activity. See, in our country, there's an environment of data breach now. Devices vulnerabilities are happening, deployment of illegal spywares are occurring, etc. frequently. And to tell you frankly, from 2003 onwards, or rather 2004 onwards, if you collect data, there have been roughly 30 crore security breaches. 30 crore. That means uh, almost 10,000 security breaches every 1 lakh. And every year, like in 2023 only, the average cost of data breach was around 18 crore rupees. That's a huge loss. And this institution like CERT-IN, its task is to ensure cyber security in the country, protecting privacy in the country. And then if you make it immune from information requests for people, it will only create more problems for the people. Data theft will only increase. So there is no need to exempt it from RTI, but sadly it has been exempted, further weakening the control of or the importance of RTI. Anyway, solve this question. Anjali, we need to minimize the schedule to list. We have to frequently visit the list and reduce the bodies from there, preventing exemptions, enforcing strict penalties on PIOs, right? Overhaul of the RTI is required. Simran, you are mentioning an exactly opposite statement, Simran. Please. Yes, Ghanshyam. MPs cannot give passes, they can apply for passes. Shriman says that we did not talk about foreigners. What is mentioned here, Mr. Shrimant? See, sir. Anyway, foreigners cannot apply for RTI, only citizens. Okay? Private organizations are not covered under RTI. Are we clear? So, A1 only, because yes, within 30 days, you have to give the information. Are we clear? That's it. There's a question for mains as well for your practice. Analyze the achievements of RTI Act in India since its enactment. Discuss the measures needed to overcome the challenges faced in its implementation. So, talk about the achievements. What are the achievements of RTI, right to information, empowering the citizens, transparency in governance, accountability, reducing corruption, strengthening democracy, improving decision making, etc. Right? All these things. And then what about the challenges? Challenges, lack of awareness amongst people. Look at you only here, the educated mass of the country. You don't know details of RTI. How do you expect others to know about RTI? Right? Then bureaucrats don't like RTI a lot. Resistance from bureaucracy also. They don't like disclose information. Then record maintenance is very poor in our country. And if you ever enter a government building, especially a state government building, you are greeted with a stench of files all across, files thrown here and there, mismanagement completely, right? Rats eating the files, termites eating the files, etc. Rats eating files, that's a great excuse. A few years back in the state of Bihar, just on a side note, interesting anecdote. In Bihar, what had happened was that in Bihar there is liquor ban. So normally when you are going to drink liquor, the police will seize the liquor and keep it in their under their control in their godowns, right? And periodically it is destroyed. So after a year or so, when the police godown was being inspected, they found that lot of liquor bottles that were seized were empty in the police custody. And when they were asked what happened to the liquor, and the police says mice and rats drank all the liquor. That's true. The response was that rats are drinking the liquor. I mean, for any newbie person who has never drunk, you would know very well opening a bottle also requires some skill. Sadly, that's how it is. Anyway, so measures needed to overcome. We have to also eliminate procedural. How to improve that? Training of PIOs is required, right? Then the CIC should enforce strict punishments, etc. Penalty should be used regularly. All such things need to be done. Okay. Now, the last topic for the day is the aspirational block program, the champions of change. We had a release of the data from Niti Aayog. So, Niti Aayog conducts a program called aspirational districts ranking. Under that, they also have aspirational block program, which was launched this year only on the 7th of January by the Prime Minister in a meeting of chief secretaries. And the ranking has been released recently. The topmost block, first rank goes to a block in this Asifabad district, which is called Tiriani. There are various spellings of Tiriani. Thiriani, Tiriani, Tiriani. So whatever suits you, they are all reference to the same place. Okay. First rank. Second rank has been bagged by Kaushambi in Kaushambi district in UP. This is Telangana. Okay. Clear? See, the idea has been to evaluate the performance of these blocks. Focus is on improving governance to enhance the quality of life of citizens, right? Enhancing quality of life of citizens, enhancing service delivery in various blocks. This is basically done by converging the central and state schemes, right, and monitoring the outcomes. What is the result of these parameters? Are these parameters changing or not? Constant monitoring of these parameters. And 500 such blocks have been identified in 27 states. The only state which is not included is Goa, and 4 UTs. 4 UT which are not included are Delhi, Pondicherry, Chandigarh, and Lakshadweep. They are not included. Okay. And the block development officer, BDO, is called the leader of change. Under his control, the very non-corrupt officers, I hope you know, BDOs, the very innocent, very truthful, right, full of integrity, those officers called BDOs, they are now the leaders of change in the country. Okay. Anyway, The survey or the data is collected along 5 basic themes: health and nutrition. There are total 40 indicators. Under health and nutrition only, there are 14 things that they check: percentage of institutional deliveries, percentage of people screened for hypertension, percentage of people screened for diabetes, percentage of Anganwadi centers which have a functional toilet, percentage of Anganwadi centers which have drinking water. Then under education, there are 11 different indicators: percentage of boys uh, who have moved from upper primary to secondary level, percentage of girls who have moved from upper primary to secondary level, then percentage of schools which have adequate number of girls toilet, percentage of boys who have scored more than 60% marks in the board examination, percentage of girls who have scored more than 60% marks in the board examinations. Then under basic infrastructure, they check on percentage of households which have a tap connection. Then ODF, how many villages are ODF? What is ODF? Open defecation free. And social development, number of banking points in your block, how many SHGs are getting credit loan from banks. Data is constantly collected, and for any such problem, approach the BDO. That is how information is collected, and the improvement is given a score and rankings are given. So the strategy is very simple: convergence. Convergence of what? Central plus state schemes converging together. Collaboration of what? Niti Aayog, central ministries, state department, district administration, block administration collaborate. And of course, competition, right? The competition, healthy, constructive competition amongst various block development officers, the BDOs, the states, etc., to come up at the top. This is the aspirational block program launched this year only, with the first uh, Delta rankings coming in this month. Okay, so that's all. Before we end a prelims based question, please solve the last question for the day. Let's hope you get this correct. 1 full minute of time. Shyam, full 5 years. Sneha, keep on revising. There is no shortcut, frankly. Reading the same thing again and again. Devansh, it would be advisable. Yes, Anjali, why not? Neha, some of the blocks in Bihar. By improving the parameters, we constantly check and improve the parameters. Okay, it was launched in 2018 as a part of Rajiv Gandhi Panchayat Sashaktikarn Abhiyan. This is wrong. And Rajiv Gandhi Panchayat Sashaktikarn Abhiyan is for what? It is for capacity building. Capacity building of Panchayat employees. What is capacity building? Capacity building is training, right? So please don't write training. Training is for kids. Capacity building is for legends. Clear? So when you go to Labasna, you're not being trained. Your capacity is being built, right? For corruption. Sorry, to curb corruption. I meant to curb corruption. Okay. Second one, district collectors are nodal officers. No, not district collectors, block development officers. BDOs are the nodal officers. Both statements are wrong. How many are incorrect? Both are incorrect. C is the right answer. That's it. Done for the day. This is the leaderboard for today. We have toppers Kirtana, Anand Kumar, Nilesh, Shamil, Ujwal, Anand, Saksham, Megha, Vijay, Mahara, and Pulkit. Right? Toppers for the day. And as far as the toppers are concerned, see, in the offline classes, when you are a topper, I give a chocolate to all the toppers. But here, that's not possible. But don't worry, keep the screenshot with yourself. Whenever you meet me ever, I owe you a chocolate. Okay? Definitely. But with proof. Okay, that's it. Oh, online delivery. Who wants online delivery? So that's how it is. Doubts? Ketan, nodal officer. The officer who is in charge of the activity, the controlling officer. Others, possibly yes, data breach is possible because your name is being sent, sold, your number is being sold. That's true actually. Speaker and leader of the house. Speaker of the house is the person who runs the entire house. Leader of the house is a person sitting in the house who collectively leads the MPs together. Okay. Office of profit. Office of profit means a post where you get some monetary financial gain from the government, like an IAS officer. An IAS officer is appointed by the government. So you are getting benefit from the government. Now, if I am getting some benefit from the government, how will I be able to faithfully question the government in the house? If I get up to ask a question from the minister, minister will WhatsApp me, come on, sit down, I'll cancel the contract. And then I'll sit down, oh, sorry, minister. Very nice minister, best minister. So the legislator should be free from the executive. Hence, office of profit. Nandini, no. Only MPs can apply for passes. Yes, Deepika, of course that would. Munna, de facto. De facto means the real head, the functioning head. De jure means official head. So officially, who is the head of the country? Officially, it's the president, because we know very well all decisions are formally taken in the name of the president. But we also know that the real head of our country is the prime minister. So we call that person the de facto head. Clear? Real head. Okay. Mahua Malhotra, Mahua Mitra. Who is this Malhotra? Mahua Mitra, Mahua Moitra case is a case of not suspension, expulsion. Okay? Expulsion. So Mahua Moitra was expelled. That's a different story for a different class altogether. It was a very interesting case of fallout between people, right? Over a dog, Rottweiler, and expose happened. Anyway, that's it. Yes, Kirtana. You, whenever we meet for any offline class, what is promised will be delivered. Don't worry. Okay, great. No, revising the whole video series, how will that be possible? Please revise your notes only. Okay. Nominal head meaning somebody who has no real powers. He is just an official head. That's it. Lavanya, aspirational block program is a program where we are trying to evaluate certain parameters in various blocks. We have chosen 500 such blocks in 27 states and 4 UTs, and we are trying to improve those blocks by keeping a check on those parameters and forcing the BDO to improve those parameters to get a better ranking. That's it. Okay, I believe that's all for today, guys. We'll meet in the next webinar when it is scheduled for polity, and that's going to be all for today. Right? Please sleep tight, revise. The prelims is around the corner for those who are appearing in 24, and of course, for those later on, there is no rest till you are an aspirant. Keep on studying, and of course, delayed and belated Merry Christmas and a very, very Happy New Year. May this New Year bring some good news for you for your UPSC goals. Right? Okay. That's all for me, guys. Jai Hind.